Before we get into the event, I want to take a moment and tell you something. On December 5th, 2013, Africa lost its international icon, an ambassador for national peace, Nelson Mandela, also known as Madiba. I want to request all of you, as a gesture of peace, to stand up at your seats and observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you very much. His life was dedicated to betterment of humanity and betterment for African community. You might be thinking, what makes me look awesome today for a change? So this is a typical African wear, the typical cloth. And the good thing about this is you can wear this in office. You just have to take off your denim and replace it with trousers. This is a formal attire as well as typical casual attire in Africa, and most of them are collarless. So, welcome to Broaden Your Horizon Africa, and let the party get started.
Thank you, Ajay, and a very good afternoon to all of you all. Thank you for coming down. It's going to be a fun-filled 1 hour, okay? We're going to have a lot of fun. There are going to be a few presentations. You'll see some dances. We have a few live performances as well, and we've really ended on a high. Just before kicking off, I hope you guys are enjoying the food. It's traditional African food. It's been specially ordered just for you guys so that you can be a part of this event. There'll be more details about what you're eating as we go through the rest of the event. But for now, let's kick off with our first presentation. Kenya. Everyone knows Kenya is one of the best countries from where athletes come out, right? I mean, if Christine was given a chance, she'd probably be running right now and not be standing here. Yeah, but Kenya is always known to have the best athletes in long distances. Not just that, I mean, it's interesting to see that Obama, his father is actually from Kenya itself. So having such a very diverse culture and background, let me introduce you to our first, Benson and Christine, to take you through Kenya.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benson Waweru.
And my name is Christine Kidula Horizon.
And so we are going to show you a presentation on Kenya. And to begin with, this is our national flag. And we are very passionate about our Kenyan colors. Actually, right now I feel so bad that I'm not in my Kenyan colors. But we are very passionate. So as you go along the presentation, you'll see, like even in sports, in everything that we do, we always keep to these colors. So we're just going to explain to you what our colors mean. So black represents the African people that are in Kenya, although it's just not only Africans, we are very diverse, but that's the majority. Then red, which is next, represents the blood which was shed by our freedom fighters when they were during the quest for our independence. We are formerly a British colony, so that's what the red stands for. And the white is the peace which has been there, the peace and the tranquility. Since we gained our independence, we've not had like any civil war, and you know, it's been very peaceful in Kenya. And the green here represents agriculture and the vegetation. So agriculture supports so much of like the Kenyan economy, forms about 20% of our GDP. And then this shield here represents the fact that all of us as Kenyans, we are ready to defend our country, we are ready to stand, you know, and defend our country. So Kenya on the African map is right here. It's on East Africa. It borders Uganda. So Uganda is there. This is Tanzania. This is Somali. And this here is Sudan and Ethiopia. So we are actually on the East African side. The population of Kenya is about 44 million people, and we are very diverse. So it's just not Africans. There's actually a high Indian population, which is about 600,000. There's a high Somali population, which is about 2.4 million. And so yeah, you see we are a very diverse country. And we actually lie on the equator, and so for us, the days and nights, all 365 days are equal. And so when we came here, and you know, it started to get dark at 4 p.m., we are a little bit surprised, because we've never seen that before in our lives. So this here is the capital of Kenya. It's called Nairobi, and it's like the regional hub for East Africa in terms of business, in terms of sports, and the population of Nairobi is about 3 million people. Again, it's a very multicultural city. It's a cosmopolitan, very diverse. So many people, most of like the Indian population, they're based in Nairobi, and some of them in Mombasa, which is the coast, and in Kisumu a little bit. So here we are very passionate about our culture and about, we take a lot of pride in our culture and our heritage. And like one of the community which really exemplifies that is the Maasai community, which is right here. So these guys, they are pastoralists. So as you can see, they have actually like the shield which I showed you on the flag comes from the Maasai people. And they are pastoralists. And one thing which is very unique about these people is that they have to kill a lion for you to be initiated into manhood. And they don't use any weapons. It's just them and their hands and their sticks. And they live in these traditional houses, which are called manyatas. And till this very day, they live there. Even if they get educated, we have to stick to our culture. And so, that's how they are called. And this here is our traditional food. It's called ugali. It's made from corn. And this is basically kale. And we also do have a lot of fish. So I'm going to hand over to Christine.
Thank you, Benson. I'm going to talk a little bit about the economy. Just like Benson has said, agriculture is the first economic driver in Kenya. We export a lot of coffee, horticulture, and tea. And this has been possible because the country, a bigger percentage of the country has a tropical savanna climate and enables us to grow a lot of crops. Also, we have that lake that you see there is Lake Victoria. It's the second largest freshwater lake in the world, actually, and we are able to export a lot of fish to other parts of the world. Every time you talk about an African country, the first thing that comes in mind is the wildlife, the rich wildlife that Africa has. And Kenya is known to have Masai Mara. It's one of the places that they say that you should go before you die. So if none of you has gone to Masai Mara, then I guess you're not leaving us anytime soon. You should make a point of going to Masai Mara for the safari. And the richest thing about Kenya, this is very unique actually to the world. We have, right at the heart of Nairobi, we have one of the largest national reserves. It's called Nairobi Safari Walk. And that photo that you see right there, I used to live about 2.5 kilometers away from there. And in the morning, if you don't get out early enough, this is the kind of traffic you get. Not cars, but lions. We also have a lot of white sandy beaches that has enabled a lot of tourism. Tourism is the second contributor to the GDP of the economy. And we have, as you can see, a lot of species of birds and lakes and whatnot. The first time I came to America, or any other time I meet an international person from any other part of the world, and I tell them I'm from Kenya, the first thing they ask, oh, do you run? And I always say, if I ran, I'd be a millionaire somewhere. I'd probably not be here. So we pride ourselves in our athletes. We constantly set our own records and break them in the middle and long distance running, and I'm sure all of you know all about that. But besides just athletics, we have an up-and-coming rugby team. Currently, they stand number 8 in the world 7 series, I think. I'm not as enthusiastic, though I do run. Not for money. And then also because of the Asian community that we have, like he mentioned, we have a bigger population of Indians as right after Kenyans, and because of that, Kenyans embrace their love for cricket, and we're doing pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much about Kenya, and I hope that we have been able to answer a little bit of the questions that you have about our motherland. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Benson. Thank you, Christine. That was a wonderful opening insight on Kenya. Guys, do you want some action? Can I hear a voice if you guys want to see some dance? Yeah! All right, so before we move into our first dance, it's about West African. We're going to have all the girls come on and showcase their individual countries and what the dance is all about. So sit back, enjoy and relax. But before that, it's interesting to note that Africa is the second largest continent in the world. Not just largest, it's also the second most populous continent in the world. And the very fact that it's growing faster than Asia means that there's a growing economy which is just waiting to explode. So till then, let's sit back and enjoy. Did you like it? Yeah, I thought so too. We have had some fun. Let's get on with some more serious stuff. We'll come back to it, don't worry. There's more to come. So, we've spoken about Kenya. Now we're going to talk about another country that one of my own red cohort batchmates come from. His name is Khalil. He comes from Burkina Faso. Woo! And, yeah, totally agree with that. So, it's interesting because his family is from there. His parents have been, born and brought up in Burkina Faso for most part of his career. And it's interesting that it's the first country that actually had a Pan-African cinematography festival, which was never there otherwise. And I'm sure as Khalil will take you through his presentation, you'll actually see that passion of films in him. He enjoys his movies like crazy. And I'm going to let him do the rest of the talking. So let's bring it on, Khalil.
So my name is Khalil Jibo, and I'm from the country of Burkina Faso. So I have the great honor of introducing to you to my home country. So Burkina Faso is in West Africa, and it has a population of about 15 million people. It's a landlocked country and is bordered by 6 other nations: Mali, Niger, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, and Ghana. So here you can see the Princess Yenenga, who is actually a warrior princess and the mother of most of the population in my country. So she's here on a stallion and actually exemplifies the strength that women have today, and that's why I'm probably not going to marry someone from my country. You're a woman too demanding. So here we have our African king, which is the African king of the Mosi tribe. We have over 60 different ethnic groups, and the Mosi tribe are the most dominant, representing about 40%. So a little known fact, the countries in green are actually countries that speak French. We are colonized by the French, and so you can see in West and Central Africa all the French-speaking countries. After, I'll talk about some of our big icons. So we have Sankara, which is represented in the 2 higher pictures, and he is actually referred to as the African Che. He's a little bit of a revolutionary. And on the bottom picture, we have our actual president, Blaise Compaoré. Right after, these are some of the delicacies you can actually find in my country. So on the bottom, we have tow, which is actually made out of the corn paste. And we also have drinks like bisap. And for example, in the middle, you can see a person on a motorcycle. And you can see about 40% of the people there actually use motorcycles to ride around. And it's more economic. And as you can see, we can carry a lot on them. About 100 chickens or something like that. And we love to drink either in the city or even in rural areas. So we party just like you. So here are just some cultural aspects. We have a mosque. The one to the right was actually constructed in the late 19th century, and we have a more modern one on the left. We have also homes that are decorated by women, usually in rural areas, and a statue that represents all of our fallen heroes. So here we're passionate especially about soccer. So you can see this crazy fan all the way to the left with great decorations and everything. And we are lucky enough to make it to the final of the AFCON competition, which is the African Cup of Nations. Unfortunately, we lost to Nigeria. So for now, I have a little discontent with all my Nigerian brothers. Here, this is actually a picture. One of the rare parts is in southern Burkina Faso. There's an area called Sabu, and where we have sacred crocodiles. So the legend tells that a crocodile actually saved someone from the Kabore family, and that these crocodiles are now protected actually by the local population. They're also fed, and basically domesticated, even though they're living in the wild. So here you can see some tourists who are going to sit on the crocodile and get close. I do not want anyone to bring their children and try this. But this was kind of a shocking video to me myself. And there have been no incidents in the past, but I do reiterate, don't try this with your child. So lastly, I'll present our main exports, which are gold, raw cotton, and other agricultural products. And we also have a booming telecommunication market and construction industry. So thank you very much for following my presentation.
It's interesting, you know, we also saw some of these crocodiles are really human-friendly. It's interesting to note that in Africa, you'll probably think more people die or get killed with lions, right? But that's not the case. It's actually crocodiles which kill most of the people up here. Yeah. Moving on, let's move on to the next presentation. We have Akans from, again, the Red Cohort, as well as Peace, who's going to tell us about Nigeria. Nigeria is actually the largest, most populated country in Africa. And it's interesting that Akant has spent over 4 years out there with his family while working in Nigeria, whereas Peace out here has actually been and part of Nigeria all her life. So I'm going to let them take us through such an interesting presentation on Nigeria. For you guys.
This is the Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, the 5-star hotel. So briefly, just a brief introduction on Nigeria. Nigeria has 250 languages. We are one of the most populous countries in the world. And also, we are also known as the giant of Africa. Nigeria is also the largest oil producer in Africa and the 4th largest in the world. So one major thing I want you guys to know about Nigeria is our culture. Our weddings are something you all must be part of. Nigerian wedding, the left-hand side shows the wedding of a Yoruba person. This is exactly the way someone who is from the Yoruba ethnicity would dress, just like this. And this is a picture of our wife's wedding. This is exactly the way it is. And our people are actually very cute. This is an Igbo wedding. As you can see, the lady by the right, is also an Igbo girl. But in the Igbo culture, you dress like this first, take the palm wine to meet your husband, and then go back and change to this. So when I'm getting married, this is exactly the way I'm going to dress. This is an Hausa wedding. Hausa is one of the tribes in Nigeria. So Hausa are kind of like Indians. They love to put things on your hand when they're getting married. They love shiny outfits. This is just a typical one. So this is also a lady and a groom. So Nigeria has 2 major religions, Christianity and Islam. This is the National Economical Center in Nigeria, one of the largest churches in Nigeria. This is also the national mosque. As you can see, we have a large variety of Muslims who live in Nigeria. So these are 2 major people who have contributed immensely to the growth and development in Nigeria. This is Professor Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She was a former vice president of World Bank, and now she's acting as the finance minister in Nigeria. She has done so many things, both within her capacity as a vice president and also as Nigeria's finance minister. This is also the 43rd richest man in the world. He's also a very popular man, both in Nigeria and outside. Most of the houses we live in come from his product. He makes cement, pastas, so many things. He also makes cars now, so he's the 43rd richest man in Nigeria. So from here onwards, I'm going to hand it over to my co-presenter, Akant. His name also means peace. So.
Thank you, Peace. Hi everyone. I had the privilege of staying in Nigeria for 4 years, and I'd like to share my experience living there as a foreign national. Nigeria is a country of huge ethnic diversity and amazing cuisines. The most popular food is called jollof rice. It's a great hit at parties and dinners. I believe it's on the menu. I hope you're enjoying it. For those of you who like street food, do pick up suya, which is skewered beef. It's really amazing. Like Peace mentioned, there are two major tribes in Nigeria, the Yoruba, which are primarily in the west, and Igbo, which is in the east. So the Yoruba tribe eats a lot of yams and soup. This is called amala. It's beaten porridge yam. It goes very well with black bean soup. The cuisines with the Igbo tribe are a little more exotic. This is snail's kebab. I can feel all the vegetarians cringing right now. But I promise you it's one of my favorites. It's really amazing and it tastes just like chicken. Don't take my word for it, try it out yourself. It goes really well with Igbo, which is a traditional Nigerian salad. How are you going to wash down snail kebabs? With local drinks. The drink on your left is called Chapman. It's a bitter drink invented by a bartender who was called Chapman. Very creative. On your right you'll have Zobo, which is a very healthy drink made from dried Zobo leaves, a traditional Nigerian plant. What's little known about Nigeria is it's a major beach destination. It has amazing pristine beaches and water sports. I recommend that you try out all these cuisines and drinks while sitting on a beach and enjoying some Nigerian music. This is Tarkwa Beach in Lagos, my former home. This is another beach called Bar Beach, again in Lagos, with a panoramic view of the city. A trip to Nigeria isn't complete without visiting the local market and the handicrafts. On your left you'll see ostrich eggs that have been calligraphed in the Nigerian language, something very unique. Finally, Nigeria is known for its opulence. People like to live at large and have fun. This is the presidential resort in white with beachfront properties near Aso Rock, which is outside the capital. It's really beautiful. To conclude, Nigeria is an iconic African nation, and please do visit. Nagode or thank you in the Hausa language.
Thank you, Peace. Thank you, Ekant. I think that was wonderful, right? I mean, you enjoyed Nigeria. You guys want some fun now, or are you happy with presentations?
Fun presentations.
Just fun.
Just fun? Do you want some dance?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's not good enough. Do you want some dance?
Yeah!
I like it. All right, so we're going to have, moving from Nigeria itself, we're going to bring in a Nigerian dance. It's called High Life. And we're going to have Obiamaka. She's the president of the club, as well as Peace. She's part of Nigeria. She knows it better than anyone else. And these two are going to showcase the local dance. Let me give it to them. It's all yours.
Rappers are vexed, chasing me with a Vespa. Some not kicking a Pepsa, not a threat, I'm a jet, flyer than IRS, helicopter flow tireless. These rappers are kids, no connections, wireless. See my track list, I've been paving the way John the Baptist. I've been moving my finger on the atlas. Rappers blowing up and I'm the catalyst. Catalyst. Africa rapper, number one. Africa rapper, number one. Some of them say they better than me. They must be high like a luha. They should switch to Makusa. Can they tell I'm a boss? Some of them wanna blow some. Maybe they should come and pay me tolls. We are the mafia. We are hitmen. Making hits every time that I spit, man. We are chairman. We the big man. So I call you that call you a kid, man. You checking my fresh, checking my cool, checking my belt, checking my shoe, checking my heart, checking my crew. You see me better than you.
so before we move on to our next presentation, let me just give you a couple of interesting facts about Africa. Africa is actually considered and has 1/3 of all the world's minerals. 1 out of 3 comes out of Africa. So you can imagine the wealth that the continent actually has, right? It's huge. So I'm going to now talk about another country that our fellow mates, we're going to have Tim and Deepa come in. They're going to talk about Ghana. They've both been brought up in Ghana. They're Ghanaians from the very beginning. Ghanaians are actually considered to be the happiest people in Africa. And it's no surprise that her name, Jifa, is actually Ghanaian, which means full of heart. So let me give them the opportunity to take you through Ghana. A round of applause, please.
Akwaba, your friend me Timothy, Nami free Ghana, which means my name is Timothy, I'm from Ghana. I'll be presenting together with
Jifa, Tamakla.
And like Vivek said, Ghanaians are some of the happiest people in the world. We find a way to put comedy into everything. And so I guess that helps us with some of the daily struggles and some of the hardships we go through. So Ghana is the first country in Africa to gain independence from the colonial masters. In our case, it was Britain in 1957. It was part of the former Ghana Empire, and then it broke down later after colonization into what is present-day Ghana. The first president was Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and he led the liberation struggle for independence. Ghana has a population of about 25 million presently, and some of our key exports are gold and cocoa. And then currently we also discovered oil, so hopefully that helps in our fortunes. Another big part of the country is tourism. If any of you get the chance to visit Ghana, I'd encourage or advise you to visit some of these sites. We have mountains. This is the highest mountain in Ghana. It's about 2,000, almost 3,000 feet, and you can see some of the. There you go. You can see some of the familiar heights you're used to in comparison. We also have castles and forts, and these just represent some of the legacies of the colonial era. They were used as forts for trade of commodities and also, unfortunately, slaves. So today they stand as memorabilia that many African descendants go back to see where they're from and trace their paths. We also have falls, very pretty falls. We also have botanical gardens and parks. So please do well to visit. Another thing that's really cool about Ghana is that we have a village on stilts. And so it's a village that is on a lake and supported by stilts, and it's presently like this today. If you go to the western region of the Nzima people, you will meet these sites. And we also have the Lake Volta, which is the largest land-made lake in the world. And that is very key for us because it helps our energy production for our Kusumbo Dam, and we're able to export power to other African countries. And I'll turn it over to you now.
Are you guys having fun?
Yeah.
So our traditional attire is made out of kente, this fabric, which is what I'm wearing right now. It's hand woven, very expensive. So what I'm wearing will take an expert about 112 hours just to make. Kente is very popular in Ghana. We wear it for our weddings, we wear it to church, we wear it to different events. Food. Most of our food we usually eat plantain, a lot of starch, cassava. This is kenke, it's made out of cornstarch. Plantains are usually accompanied by beans or jollof rice. After a hard day of work, Ghanaians like to chill. We just like to relax, have fun, go out and hang out with friends. So these are a few beaches in Ghana that you can visit. The nightlife, we like hanging out with family, close friends, so we have a lot of bars in Ghana. And this is what some of our houses look like in Ghana. The average house, this is a house in an estate, which is about $450,000. And you can't talk about Ghana without talking about soccer, so Tim will take it.
So Ghana is a very passionate soccer nation, like most of the countries in the world, and especially in Africa. We're 4 times champion. We've been overtaken by Egypt, unfortunately. They are the 6-time champions. We've also had 3 consecutive trips to the World Cup in 2006, 2010, and we'll be representing the continent again in 2014. One key fact about this is that we always seem to meet the US one way or another, and so far we managed to meet you guys. So hopefully the trend continues in 2014. We'll just have a short video to reminisce our joy and your pain. So this is a goal that took Ghana from the second round into the quarterfinals.
He's going to have a few conversations after this, I'm sure. All right. All right, our next presenter reads no introduction, to be honest. He's been here for a few months now, but he's been so famous with what he does. He's going to come and present us on an African Swahili song. And I'm sure you'll have all seen his performances before. Let me introduce you to Warren Pinto.
Hi everyone, I'm Broaden. I'm not from Africa. I'm from India, which incidentally had a big stake in the freedom struggle in South Africa. And I was in South Africa for a while when I was working, and I had the time of my life while I was in Johannesburg and Durban. And it inspired me to learn a little bit of African music and African culture. So this song I'm going to present to you is a song in Swahili, which is an official language in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and even of the African Union. This song was originally composed somewhere in the 1950s, and it was later popularized by famous artists like Miriam Makeba, Harry Belafonte, the Brothers Four, and even Bonnie M. The song is called Malaika, which means angel in Swahili.
2 now. We're going to have one presentation and then the grand finale, so just hold on to your seats. It won't take too long. I will quickly bring our next participant on, Alvin. He's a second-year student here. He's from South Africa. And South Africa being the largest economy in the continent, it's actually interesting that it was the first country in Africa to have a heart transplant. What is it? Africa or the world, actually?
Say again?
The world? The heart transplant?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So it was in the world. So
Dr. Chris Butler.
yeah, all right. So let me bring it on and hand it over to Alvin for South Africa.
Hi everybody, we saved the best for last. Presenting to my country, South Africa. I grew up in the northern part of the country. You'll see Pretoria, closer to the heart of the gold mining industry. We're surrounded by Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Contrary to popular belief, not all of us have lions for pets, live in huts, or are afraid of violence or anything like that. We think we have much better technology than we really do. Tourists live in luxury, but what South Africa is really about is beautiful tourism, braais or barbecues as you would call them, good wine and good people. In South Africa we have 11 official languages, just to help you learn a little more. Hello in Zulu is Sawubona. How are you in Northern Sotho is Lekai. I'm sorry in Xhosa is Nkolo. You can try and practice some of those clicks if you want. And goodbye in Afrikaans, which is my home language, is Totsiens. South Africa is well known for its wine industry closer to Cape Town, and you'll see the beautiful Table Mountain. And we also have really beautiful beaches, and at the top right you'll see a typical Cape Dutch style house that's really common on some of the old wine farms. We also are big on our game drives. We don't call it safaris where I'm from, we call it a game drive. And if you go to the Kruger National Park in the northeast of the country, you'll hope to see some of the big five, namely leopards or leopards, lions or leeuws, buffalo or buffels, rhinos or rosters, elephants or olifante. This is some of the typical South African food. As some of my friends that visited the country with me found out in December, we love our meat. And at the top left, that's called boerewors, the typical South African sausage. On the bottom left, you see biltong, which is a dried meat, dried spiced meat. And typically, you can make beef biltong, or you can use more wild meats like kudu, for example. In the middle at the bottom, you'll see biscuit, which is a dried type bread or cake, which you typically enjoy with coffee. And then on the right is what they call mieliepap. It's mielies is corn in my language, and it's like a lumpy type porridge, which is essentially the staple food of the country. We also love our sports, and we are typically big fans of cricket, rugby, and soccer. You'll see our Test cricket team is #1 in the world. There they are with the ICC mace in their hands, and I know my Indian friends are not very happy about it. We topped the rankings for a while now. And of course, you'll see that's Francois Pienaar on the right, top right, holding the World Cup in 1995, and then when we won the Rugby World Cup in 2007. This is when we won the African Nations Cup in 1996, when with some Madiba magic, as you can see, at the team side. But no presentation about South Africa will be complete without honoring the great man Nelson Mandela. He passed away in December, and I managed to go back just a week that his funeral was held in the country for winter break. And I don't know if a lot of you know, but South Africa is almost the only example in modern history where minority rule was relinquished without civil war. So it really is a miracle that we managed to have a fairly peaceful transition to democracy. So I just want to close with a quote. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. All right, we are done. That was an exciting presentation, wasn't it? We have a last and final act today. It's going to be all the participants are going to come back on and have a fashion show. So for this, I need that's exactly what I need. So I need you guys to kind of cheer them up, have fun. This is going to be really exciting. A few minutes, and I think we're going to be wrapping up then. So if the team is ready, then you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to be wearing?
Oh, me.
Before we talk about all the great contributions, I want to say that when we took over this club last year from the previous board, I have been consistently supported by my board here, Yasha, Ankit and Fidan. graphics and advertising you see for our club, one person who is, I think, and I believe, one of the most creative soul on campus, David Lee. I want to say thanks to him. I request Yasha to extend a token of thanks to David for the whole year support. Two guys who have spent almost 20 hours on campus for the last 4 or 5 days for something which is not Simon, not courses, Broaden Your Horizons. They really supported us all the time in the last 2 events. I want to say thanks to Vivek and Irtiza. This event would have not been possible without exceptional support from Simon National Bank Association. We have the president writing back here. All the volunteers who helped us serve food, move the projector in the last minute when the projector failed for here. So appreciate all the effort, and most of all the beloved Simonites who always have been great support here. Thank you very much for